Hello and welcome to the Nintendo Pipeline Podcast. On this episode, we'll be discussing the GameCube's 20th anniversary, which is coming up very soon. I'll be your host today, One Up Muffin, but you can call me Jared. And with me today is...
Hello, I'm CMM. You can call me Clay.
And we have a special guest. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure, I'm Noise. I was on the podcast about that Nintendo Direct from the while back where... No, it was the Indie Direct.
That was the Indie episode. That was yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us again. And I guess just to kind of set the stage, I got some GameCube facts in front of me. So the GameCube was released in 2001. It was Nintendo's fourth home console, and it sold 22 million units. So to get this kind of celebration of the GameCube started, I thought we would start with everyone's favorite GameCube memory. Does anyone have one in mind, or I can start if you guys don't have one immediately?
The GameCube had a handle.
GameCube does have a handle. Yeah, it's a cute little. If you've never seen a GameCube somehow and you're listening to this podcast, it's a cute little cube with a handle.
It's a lunchbox.
It's a little lunchbox. It's wonderful.
I just remember getting getting mine at I want to say it was Christmas time, and somewhere around launch, it was Luigi's Mansion, Pikmin, Smash Bros, and Sonic Adventure 2, but most importantly, Smash Bros. And the other thing I remember very specifically is fighting over playing Animal Crossing with my sister. Because we both had our own towns, so that was a thing.
My memory is also Smash related. So I had played Melee at a friend's house, and I loved it. I mean, Smash Bros. 64 was, at the time when I was a kid, maybe my favorite game at that point. I loved it a lot. So when Melee came out and I played at the friend's house, I was like, I need this. I had a PS2. So I had to convince my parents. I was like, hey, it's like a present. I really want a GameCube. Like, this is like my favorite game. So they got me a GameCube. They got me with Melee and Mario Party 7, which has the fun little microphone. But not really notable other than that. But it's fun. It's got a cute little microphone. It's pretty good. I'll say that. Noise, do you have a GameCube related memory?
In my family, it was out. The GameCube was like, we had the Xbox, and we were mostly a PC gaming Xboxing family. But then I don't even really remember asking for the GameCube. Most of my Nintendo love came from the handhelds, and I saw like Metroid games, but like in 3D. Yeah. Zelda games in 3D. I mean, I skipped out on the N64 too, because I grew up with the Dreamcast. But yeah, I got it in like the Metroid. I got it with Metroid Prime 1 and 2.
So wow,
that'll
last you a while.
4, along with Animal Crossing, and I think I got a couple. I got a lot of games for it. Come to think of it, towards the launch, but that's all I really remember.
I guess I must have gotten it later than you. When did Mario Party 7 come out? Like 2006?
That was late.
Yeah, so I didn't get the GameCube till pretty late. So I was a PS2 kid. PS2 is awesome. Not for this podcast, but a great console.
PS2 sucks for this podcast.
yeah. But what we're gonna do now,
I guess actually, before you continue, I guess that makes me the only person who had a GameCube basically at launch. That was probably the first system I had that I had actually like at launch. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, so we got someone that started with Xbox, we got someone started with PlayStation 2, and we got someone that had a GameCube since the start. That's actually kind of an interesting lineup.
Yeah, we got a good
I didn't
spread.
get the GameCube till later. Yeah.
What do you guys think of the controller?
I love it.
It's a very good controller for 3D games.
Yes. It is terrible for 2D games.
Yeah, luckily there's
bad.
Almost no 2D games of note, really, on the GameCube, luckily.
There are some, but they're usually mapped to analog.
Yeah.
Like Paper Mario and Beautiful Joe, you play with the analog stick.
Yeah. But I know I love the controller. Like, the right analog stick isn't the best for shooters, but it's amazing for platformers. Yeah. The A button's big. That's a big A button. Yeah. Those triggers feel great. I love that click at the bottom.
I do love the triggers.
It has less buttons than the other controllers, too, from that generation, which makes compatibility a little annoying. But I think it's really great for Nintendo games.
Yeah, it feels good when you put your hands on it. It's just it's very comfortable.
Yeah.
But we're here to talk about games, aren't we?
Yeah. Yeah, but let's start with some games. So we're all going to kind of go around, taking turns, picking games, discussing them. So, Noise, why don't you start us off here?
Oh, yeah, so like I said, I got Metroid Prime 1 and 2, and up until that point, the only Metroid game I had played was Fusion, which is a ramble for another day.
Great game.
But, I played them both at the same time because I was a dumb kid. Not a dumb kid, but I mean, I just felt like playing through. I started up one. It's like, that's cool. I'm going to check out two. And I just played both, and I don't really remember beating the second one. I sure would love to have another opportunity to play it. Maybe on a modern Nintendo
It's on the
system.
Wii U. It's on the eShop for $20.
I don't know what a Wii U is, actually.
Oh.
But anyway, yeah. Going back to when I did play Metroid Prime Trilogy on the Wii U, which I only played the first one again, but I do prefer the first one. I think it's a more it's a safer, more traditional Metroid game. It tried to be done in 3D, and Metroid or Echoes got jiggy with it, I guess. They tried to get weird. It got a little big brain with it. It had the two different dimensions, kind of like a Link to the Past. It was really kind of hard. It is assumed you beat the first one, I guess.
So it's actually kind of good you played it right in front of the other one.
Yeah.
In that aspect.
It's the thing that always held me back from trying to beat it, I think, was like the backtracking's kind of hard. The biomes in the game aren't as visibly. In the first one, you had like the lava area, the forest area, the forest/swamp, the ice area, desert, whatever. And in the second one, it's like you got the bog, and then you got the swamp, and then you got the dead gray area. And it's kind of yeah, and then you got the Dark World variants, which is all deader and grayer. I know those aren't proper words, whatever.
So not the most colorful game.
It's kind of hard to figure out where you are if you're not the most keen on that sort of thing.
Yeah, I've shamefully
and the bosses
not
are really damn hard. Sorry.
Oh, no problem.
I just got to give a shout out to the Ball Guardian boss because
oh god,
that was fun.
Yeah,
weekend of trying and dying to that.
With Metroid Prime, I got Metroid Prime 1 and Fusion at the same time, and I'm very bad at navigating 3D space. I'm better at it now a little bit, but back then I was extremely bad at it. So I got past like the frigate pretty easily, and then like once I was on Talon, it was reading that map was so hard for me.
I started Metroid 1, but I never finished it, sadly. But I got like halfway through. Sorry.
Yeah, I forget how far I got. I suck at 3D Metroid.
I really do love playing through it. I started playing through it again earlier this year on the wonderful Prime Hack version through the computer, which is just basically with mouse and keyboard controls, and it works great. Anyway, a lot of people don't like the artifact treasure hunt at the end, mostly because it's more backtracking, but I mean, that's what Metroid's all about in the first place, I kind of guess. Not really, there's more to it than that, but there's a lot of backtracking anyway. Also scanning everything was so cool.
Yeah,
it's
scanning
like
was
one of
fun.
the first games I really remember where like the world just felt so alive through that, I guess. I mean, outside of like text logs and computer RPGs or something like that, as far as console games go, that like just really stuck out to me.
It is one of the greatest atmospheres in gaming, I think. That's the thing that
still today
stands out to me the most. Just
yeah,
the sound effects, like both ambient noises, the music, the visuals still look beautiful.
The music is timeless.
Fantastic.
I don't think anything has come close to even trying to sound like the Metroid Prime soundtracks. It's like a league on its own.
Yeah. I would like to finish 1 and play 2 at some point, and 3.
Definitely.
Which I have those games. Again, there's some shameful parts of my Nintendo past.
It would be a lot easier to play through them if they were available on a modern-day Nintendo system.
Yeah, the Wii U.
Yeah, the Wii U. I bought that when it was on sale. It was half off for the first week, the Prime Trilogy.
Yep.
But I have not launched it yet.
Nice.
But yeah, Prime is an awesome game. I love what I played of it, and I'm definitely excited to play more and play 2.
It's freaking great.
We got more than just that, don't we?
We're talking about more than just Prime. So my first pick is Paper Mario: The 1,000-Year Door, which is the sequel to Paper Mario for the N64. And this is one of the funniest Nintendo role-playing games. Every chapter of this game is partially like a self-contained story. Very funny game. The combat's fun. I don't play RPGs much, but I love the Paper Mario titles.
Yeah, I dig the action turn-based elements of the Mario RPGs in general. I'm pretty sure my old boss stole a copy of Paper Mario: The 1,000-Year Door and gave it to me. So thanks.
Nice.
My favorite chapter is the penguin train one. That train mystery. It's just so funny. You're on a train. I don't know why you're on the train, but a penguin, a detective who's kind of like Sherlock Holmes, is trying to solve a mystery, and Mario, of course, gets involved with his friends and helps him solve it.
What was the mystery?
Oh, I have no idea. It's been. I haven't played that game for 5 years or more.
Yeah. Well,
in the first one, it was a murder mystery.
See, that's the good stuff.
But I don't know if anyone was murdered in 1,000-Year Door.
I hope so.
Did you play Paper Mario, Noise?
I have not played this one.
Sure.
The only one I played is Super Paper Mario. Most of my knowledge about this game is that it's the one the internet loves to cry about it not being a second. I don't know. I know this is like the last quote unquote good Paper Mario, but
it's all objective.
Liked the bad one, so I don't know.
No, Super's cool. I would love to play Super more, but no, give it a try sometime. Clay, what is your first GameCube pick?
I'm gonna have to say we got to talk about Super Monkey Ball 1 and 2, kind of counting them together because Sega was on fire during the GameCube times with their arcade stuff, and obviously we've talked about it recently that Banana Mania is coming, and that is essentially a remake of 1 and 2 and Deluxe. And Monkey Ball eventually made it to PS2 in the form of and Xbox, I believe, in the form of Deluxe. But when I think of Monkey Ball, I think of the GameCube versions. So simple, but the level designs are so much fun that, rolling through the different stages is a blast. The soundtrack's incredible. And then you had the cool mini games, which are actually very good, like Monkey Target, played a lot of monkey bowling with my dad. It was just a good time. It was just one of those, it had such good fire, arcade energy. And then the second one came along, and I don't like it as much as the first. I'm not as crazy about, they added those, play buttons and fast forward buttons to, stages, and there's a weird story mode and all that, but it still had some very good stage design and some really cool-ass minigames. I still find it funny that Monkey Shot is a thing. It's just, it's a rail shooter minigame for some reason. Yeah, it has nothing to do with anything, even vaguely.
Yeah.
But yeah, hours and hours on those games.
I only have the first one, so the Switch one will be my first time playing the 2 games. But I really like Monkey Ball. It's just super simple arcade fun, and those mini games, some of them could stand on their own as full games, like Monkey Target. I would buy that.
Yeah.
I haven't played the second one, but long play of it showed up on my YouTube recommended list this morning, and I was watching some of that. Can you explain what that dance is that they do, at the end of every level or something?
Oh, magical spell is Poo.
Yeah. What's magical spell is Poo?
Some kind of weird monkey magic. I don't really totally remember.
The lore of the game is fascinating.
Dr. Badboon is the villain there. There's a reason why I'm so stoked for Banana Mania.
I can't wait. I never played 1 and 2 on the GameCube, but it was one of the games I did play on the Xbox. Well, through Deluxe.
Yeah.
But
which was Banana 1 plus 2 plus more stages, right?
Yes, it's something like that. Either 1 and 2 or cherry picking most of the levels.
Like, Deluxe is basically like, it's the stages of Monkey Ball 1 and 2 plus some more kind of in Monkey Ball 2. So like the story mode is like the same, except there's more level choices essentially for each world. Is my understanding. It's kind of a weird, mishmash of the first 2 games.
But yeah, it's a great title. And I think, Noise, your next pick is a banger.
Yes. Which one's a banger? I don't know. Either are bangers.
Yeah, either one.
Zelda Wind Waker.
Sure.
I don't remember when I got that. And it's probably like a few months after getting the GameCube, if not the Christmas when I actually did get it. But that is one of my favorite Zeldas. That's like the first 3D Zelda I really remember playing. Mm-hmm. I did not play much of Ocarina until the 3DS version. I absolutely love it. I loved it as a kid. I remember a classmate or two saying it looked like it was for babies. For context, I must have been in like 2nd or 3rd grade at the time.
Oh God, you're so young.
I know. I'm adorable. But no, it was like it's the perfect age for the kids to go, that looks like, for whatever. But no, it looked cool. It looked like a cartoon. It was I played cell shading games through Jet Set Radio, but I didn't really click in my head that this was kind of like the same tech or whatever. But it was just I don't know. It was, I'm trying to find the right words to describe how the look made me feel then, but it just was one of those first games, I guess, where it realized that games could be more, I don't know, it had an art style, and it really clicked with my childlike self that, there's an art style to this. It has a look. It's not trying to just to be graphics.
Yeah, it's just not like trying to be realistic or whatever. Yeah. I was alive for the Zelda Wars online back at that.
That just sounds terrible, but I mean, it's probably not much worse.
The time when every Zelda is both the best Zelda and the worst Zelda.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which continues to this day.
Yeah.
I love the open world, quote unquote, structure of it, or the open sea. I think that structure really works for the technological constraints of that generation. Having that giant feeling world. It was a great way to do it. Yeah. I really should check out the randomizer scene because that just seems perfect.
Oh, yeah, that sounds
cool. I need to shout out the Snot Kid who follows you. I loved, as a kid, one of the first things I distinctly remember doing in that was just running around, I forget the beginning island, Windfall?
Outset,
something like that. Yeah. I just remember walking around, messing around with the pigs, but mostly getting if you got close enough to the Snot Kid, he would start chasing you. And then you got to run away, and he tries following you, and they had a little ping as a sound effect for each footstep. And the snot bubble would just jiggle around, and it would bump into you, and it just, I don't know, man. I'm weird like that. That was the thing that caught my attention instead of like the giant quest or whatever.
Yeah, instead of the important stuff. Yeah.
But Tingle, also, love Tingle. I did make full use. I was lucky enough to have the Game Boy Advance connector to get the Tingle tuner, which was very cool. You could get like extra bombs in the game. You could I think you can get like a no-clip potion, kinda, not no-clip, but you could fly around or float around or something. Some boundary breaking stuff. It was really unnecessary, but cool. And yeah. The game was great. I loved it. Even the BS Triforce filler stuff.
Yeah.
The Triforce quest didn't stand out to me that much as I definitely didn't hate it as much as other people did.
I'm definitely one to complain about filler content and unnecessary stuff in the game, but no, it didn't bother me. It just felt, none of this it forces you to explore the world and do side stuff. It's not filler side stuff. It's not like Assassin's Creed or an Ubisoft game where you gotta collect 30 whatevers across the world. No, it's like you gotta get the Triforce pieces in a haunted ship or another side quest or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I remember enjoying the combat, and I remember hating Forsaken Fortress as a kid.
Yes.
Because my brain could not handle that.
That definitely gave me trouble when I first tried it. The first stealth section, I think I remember playing.
Stealth sections in Zelda, not my favorite parts. But yeah, that's a really charming game. I need to go back to it. Hopefully, when a Switch port comes out. Because I didn't really do much of the side stuff. I basically mainlined the 4 dungeons.
I just need to say one more thing. The Wii U version is different. It's not inferior. There are 2 different things. The GameCube version has, for those who don't know, the Wii U remaster of Wind Waker has like a more bloom, and it just messes with the cel shading a bit, so it doesn't have as much of a flat look, and it kind of looks like clay figurines, which, just because it's different doesn't mean it's worse. It isn't necessarily the original artistic intent, but like, it's not bad. It's just different, and I just want to defend the Wii U version a bit right there.
And the Wii U version does not have the tingle tuner. It had the tingle bottles, which are now, I think, dysfunctional.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't know how. Well, I can see them kind of bringing that back somewhat, given how they've treated stickers and or stamps, I should say, in 3D World.
Yeah.
The Splatoon 2 kind of Miiverse posting, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Yeah. Miiverse lives on in spirit through other games.
Exactly.
It'll never die in my heart.
It's dead, Jim.
All right, that brings it to me. I'm gonna follow up on our duo game streak with mostly Jungle Beat, but also Donkey Konga, because I want to talk about the Bongos.
Bongos.
So Nintendo released maybe the best video game peripheral of all time. A set of bongos that look like Donkey Kong's barrels. And they thought, here's the game that makes sense. Here is a Donkey Konga. It's a game with mostly either like kids songs or some Nintendo songs. Very, very weird selection of music.
Yeah.
But you basically did like a Guitar Hero like rhythm game.
It's Taiko. It's literally Taiko.
Yeah, or Guitar Hero or Taiko. You can hit the 2 bongos and you can tap the sides or clap, and those are your three inputs, right?
Yep. You gotta clap.
And then Nintendo went further than that. They said, people have these bongos now. What if we made a platformer? One of the only Nintendo 2D platformers on the system, maybe the only one. But yeah, they made a platforming game called Jungle Beat, where you control Donkey Kong only with barrels, and it's actually a pretty good platformer.
That game is magical.
Yeah.
Also, EAD Tokyo's first project was Jungle Beat. So
oh wow,
it's that game is such a blast. I've hurt my hands many a time playing through that game.
When you fight the bosses, it tells you to like smash the buttons to like punch them. So you have to hit the bongos as much as you can so you can punch them in the face. Noise, what'd you ask?
Wasn't that one of Koizumi's first games for Nintendo?
Not one of his first, I don't think. He's been around for a while.
But like as far as maybe directing or whatever.
Maybe, yeah. That I don't know as well. But that game is good. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
The score attack like element to it is really addicting, especially the weird like combo system that they have built in. And just like you can get very creative with it. And although they did re-release it on Wii, it is a very different game.
No, you want to play it with the bongos.
Yeah.
It didn't support the bongos for the Wii version?
And then
they did not.
I'll briefly say Donkey Konga 2 has a very strange soundtrack. They wanted to appeal more to like the Western market, so it has a lot of like pop punk.
Yeah.
So you can use your DK bongos to play like All Star or Good Charlotte. So that's either horrible or fantastic depending on who you are.
Never forget hit 'em up style.
I lean to the fantastic camp. And then there was a Japanese-only third game, which was mostly anime soundtracks, I think.
It was like a lot of Nintendo music and, other, like, licensed stuff.
Yeah. But, yeah, and then unreleased racing game, which they repurposed for later. But
yeah, Barrel Blast ended up being a Wii game instead.
Yeah, that's what I gotta say about Jungle Beat. What a game.
Yeah, man, that game is so cool. Another very cool game was Mario Strikers. Some people's favorite Mario sports game of all time. I like it quite a lot. Very great arcade game. Next Level Games' first collaboration with Nintendo. I know a lot of people want a new Mario Strikers, but that game was so much fun in multiplayer. Just the most ridiculous, soccer that you could imagine. And it was fun kind of picking you had the captains, and then you had the sub characters, so you would have like an army of Birdos, or like an army of Toads or whatever. And like the arenas were really fun just because of all the stupid stuff. There's that one that had like chain chomps like rolling around, I think. Like it was some weird stuff. And it did get a Wii sequel with online, which was pretty cool. But I think most people that I knew jived a bit more with the GameCube version.
The controls are just so snappy. Like, the thing I love about arcade sports is when you hit that A button, your character passes immediately. There is no second of delay. When you shoot the ball, it's so fast and fun.
And shooting was just very fun in that game as well. You have like the power shots and stuff that you would like charge up.
If you get power shots, if you always hit like the green, can you just never miss with them?
I forget how that works. It's been so long.
Because they're pretty powerful. Like if you do a power shot, it like a bar goes back and forth, and you want to land it in like the green. Yeah. And I think if you land it in the green, it's almost guaranteed a hit.
Yeah,
like a score. And it's like a double score too.
Yeah, you want to try to if someone's about to do a power shot and you want to try and like tackle them or kick them out of it or whatever. And then the Wii one added those ones where it's like the super power shots where it's like the pointer and you like get like 7 soccer balls sent at you at once or something. Yeah, but the regular one was very like GameCube one was like a very tight, like straightforward game. Just played so well. Even if you didn't like sports games, like that was a crowd pleaser.
This was one of the only sports games I played. I think it's like the only one up until the Mario Golf game that just came out for the Switch. But it was one that I really rented for a weekend or two. But one thing that always stuck out to me was the art style, the gritty, over-the-top, graffiti, Western demographic art style. That was just, I don't want to say edgy, but
it's got tude. Like it's got attitude.
It's got tude.
Like no other Nintendo game has.
This is the same Nintendo work that gave Mario tribal tattoos in that one Game Boy Advance.
Waluigi does a crotch chop in this game.
Crotch chop,
exactly.
Yeah, it's not like Shadow the Hedgehog edge, but it's definitely a bit.
It's
more
like that WWE Raw Attitude Era kind of crowd.
And the soundtrack was awesome too. Just gotta mention that very quickly. Game is stupid fun for like it's just it's an absolute pleasure.
Bring it back with the same early 2000s attitude.
Yeah.
God. Okay, maybe
I bet Nintendo would not allow that
Absolutely
anymore.
That. No, it needs that. And given an unlockable skin with the tribal tattoos.
No, my God.
Noise, what do you got for us?
Animal Crossing.
Hell yeah. This was actually the banger I was talking about. No offense to Wind Waker.
Oh, damn. Well,
this is where my heart lies.
I fucking love Animal Crossing. It was like the first not video game I've really played. I guess I played like stuff like this God games like Black and White or Dungeon Keeper or Roller Coaster Tycoon or even The Sims. But they didn't hit like Animal Crossing hit. Like, there's no real objective in The Sims other than to just, mess around with your thing. But really, it's hard for me to talk about Animal Crossing and not talk about The Sims. I both played both at the same time, and they both just kind of take up the same idea, but with just two different approaches to it. And that's why. Anyway, let's talk about Animal Crossing. Sorry. Yeah, it was the first game I really played that felt like there wasn't really an objective, and for that, I guess I put so much time into it. An hour a day, not an hour a day, like 30 minutes a day for at least 6 months, which, given my short attention span, that's probably one of the most played games I played as a kid. I remember asking to stay up past my bedtime just to help the Tortimer.
Oh, Tortimer, yeah.
Tortimer. Mm-hmm. I asked permission just to help him with the lighthouse, because like he's out on vacation for a week in the game, and you got to check the lighthouse every night because he's not there to turn it off.
That's so cool. I don't think I ever did that. That's
awesome. I remember writing a 2 or 3 pages worth of the codes that you would talk to Tom Nook just to get all the NES games and everything. And I didn't think that, I could print this out. So I just hand wrote it, and I messed up some of the symbols, and I had to go back and rewrite the whole thing. And sometimes the game codes and game facts just wouldn't be right.
Yep.
So that would just give me another curveball. But it was so cool how you could play all these NES games on the Nintendo system that plays 2D games worse than any other one. But which was very cool, because I think that was like the first time I played a lot of those. And
there's
memories. Go ahead.
Really, really quick, and then I get back to that. There's a way you can play those NES games. Did you ever do that other method?
What was the other method?
You can download them temporarily to your Game Boy Advance.
Yeah.
I did with like the e-reader.
I think it worked
through Animal Crossing
as well.
Yeah, through Animal Crossing, you can beam it to your Game Boy Advance.
I did not have an e-reader, so I did not know about that. That is very cool, though.
Yeah, you don't even need an e-reader.
Just the adapter.
That. Yeah, like you can plug in the GBA, and if you when you start up an NES game that you have like an item in your house, you can have it go to your GBA instead.
Yeah, so it downloads it to the GBA's memory, which is really cool. But I'm sorry, I needed to mention that because it's so awesome.
I'm almost done geeking about it, but I miss how I really like Animal Crossing New Horizons. And this is not a fault against it. I miss the villager interactions in the original game is what I really miss more than anything. That gyroids, and I can go on about that. But anyway, it felt more. It's been forever since I played it, so I can't get really into detailed about what the difference is, but it just felt less homogenous in the original, I guess. Grumpy people in the game kind of felt more grumpy, and
I love how mean they can be to you.
Yeah, everyone
they were
was so much meaner.
Some of them were like straight up dicks, so like they didn't
steal
give
your shit.
And then, but if you keep talking to them though, and they start warming up to you, and then you be their friend, and then you get that character progression where you can only in this game really find in like Sable or Abel or whichever one.
Yeah,
the one that's just been the same for every other game.
Yeah,
for the past whatever. Like she goes into her shell so much, like in between games. I don't know. Anyways, I love the game. I put so much time into it. My house was not fancy looking at all. I just remember running around doing chores and catching fish, but never, just vibing. I love the music too. I think it's still probably my favorite.
It is
just because it's just really goofy, quirky.
When I want to relax sometimes, I'll just put that soundtrack on.
Yeah, that soundtrack is godly.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time using going to the Game Boy Advance Island and using the e-reader with Animal Crossing as well. There were 4 series of Animal Crossing e-reader cards. There were a ton of them, and you could scan them in and get like a little dialogue from the character and like an item. You could play like weird mini games with them, and you can get like custom like town tunes and designs. Like Nintendo Power would have like, occasionally include an e-reader card that had like a custom design that you could use for like your town flag. or like a custom, song for your town tune. And then there was those ones that would unlock NES games and stuff too. It was a big part of that game for me was the Game Boy Advance interactivity, and like, playing with the Game Boy Island on the Game Boy and like leaving presents for the villager that was there, because they would like dig them up and then put something else there, and it could be an NES game.
That's cool.
Because like the strategy guide that I had for it essentially was a catalog. Like it was just kind of like an item catalog, pretty much, and like, obviously it would give you info on holidays and events, but a lot of the time I used it as just an item catalog in terms of like stuff I was looking for or how to get stuff I was looking for. And, my town was trash and my house was literally just like, I got a bunch of cool stuff. I'm just going to drop it everywhere.
Yeah. Like a junk pile.
Yeah, this is a giant junk pile.
Yeah, because there was no less storage, so it's harder to...
Yeah. I would come every month for the raffle thing that they would do too at Hominook Store. When you bought something, you did a raffle ticket. And every 5 raffle tickets, you got a spin of the wheel. And you had like a couple of prizes at the end of each month, and it could also be an NES game. So like Donkey Kong Jr., cool. I think, was one of those.
There's not much to say that hasn't been said already, but I absolutely... I love Animal Crossing for the GameCube so much. It's by far my favorite in the series. It's so charming. I love the music. I kind of love how slow it is compared to the new ones.
Yeah.
Like there's... Like, it's 60 frames a second, so it's fast in that aspect, but there's a lot more dialogue for things. Your inventory is much smaller. There are a lot more limitations, but it makes everything feel more real. I feel like I'm in that world.
Yeah, not to mention it's acre by acre in that version, so it's like screens, like the map isn't like a continuous... It's like, it is a continuous map, but it's like broken up into screens.
Yeah, you can kind of like memorize, like, okay, I'm like 2 right, 2 up.
Yeah, exactly. Be like, okay, up 2, left 2.
All right, my next pick. At that point in time, probably my favorite game of all time. It's still up there. Love this game. And that is Super Smash Bros. Melee, the reason I bought the GameCube.
Yep.
What's to say about this game? It feels amazing to this day. The combat is so smooth. There's so many cool levels in it. Poke floats. You're jumping on Pokemon that are flying through the air. So many characters. They had a lot more weird stuff than the 64 one did. This is the intro of Game & Watch.
I mean, like, they doubled the
Ice
content.
Climbers. Yeah,
easily.
and they doubled the characters, and they massively improved the moveset.
Yeah, and, like, they, like, what, like, I don't even know how many stages in the single-player stuff, and not to mention the trophies.
Many. Adventure mode, trophies. One of the
first appearances of Fire Emblem.
Yeah.
In the West.
Yeah, Fire Emblem. That was the start. Now Fire Emblem's huge. This is where it started in America. Obviously, not
Sword Fighters.
What is it?
Anime Sword Fighters.
Anime Sword Fighters. This is the start. But yeah, it's such a fantastic game. I still play this like a fair amount today.
When I got my GameCube and I had Smash Bros, I didn't have a memory card for a little bit, so I think I unlocked Jigglypuff and Dr. Mario at least like 10 times.
My god.
Oh, that's tragic.
It wasn't that long. It was like maybe like a couple of days that I didn't have a memory card, but I do remember doing that. That single player in Melee is still my favorite.
Oh yeah, mine too.
Single player. And I think it just
are we talking adventure mode or classic mode?
Both. That like you basically have technically 3 by the end of it, but you have 3 different arcade modes that are very quick to run through, but are very satisfying, and you can go through each character and get a trophy, in each mode with each character.
Which is there's so much to do. I loved doing that.
Yeah, and then you'd have like the lottery machine for the trophies, and break the targets. Home run contest showed up in that game. Multi-man melee and all that stuff.
At this point, was break the target still unique to each character, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Classic you'd go to do break the targets, grab the trophies, which was had that it was almost like a cone that you had to knock trophies in to collect them, and then it had race to the finish, which was a much longer, more developed version of Race to the Finish with a lot of exits. And if you went further, you'd obviously get a higher score and stuff.
Yeah.
But
yeah, people talk about adventure mode a lot. They talk about classic mode a lot. I love those. I also really love all-star mode, which is where you fight every single character in the game, and you get like 2 like limited health refills.
Yeah,
super satisfying survival mode. So fun. It's harder to do in the modern games because there's so many characters.
Yeah,
but it worked great in Melee.
Yeah, it's basically the arena from Kirby. That's what that is. I always preferred the initial version of that, the Melee version. The Brawl version was cool too. After that, it kind of got a bit much, but so many modes, and not to mention like special Melee. You had like the stamina matches. You can have like the giant flowers on your head. You could be gigantic. You could only use the A button. There's like all kinds of
so much more customization than 64.
Yeah.
This is the first game that had side specials.
Yep.
It's the first game that had tilt attacks, right? Or
no, they all had tilt attacks.
They all tilt attacks. But so it was side specials.
More importantly, it had trophies.
Trophies. Yeah.
It did have trophies. Which
so
at
cool.
The time, that was very big thing, because it was, information wasn't as widespread then as it is now. So it was basically like a Nintendo museum in a game.
Fantastic game. Still holds up today.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll quickly mention my last one here, since we're kind of running out of time. But Wario World is a very strange game. It's by Treasure, and it is a 3D beat 'em up. And it's like the game is so weird. It's very short. It's only 4 worlds, but it has such this weird character to it it's very unique. It's never gotten ported. If you can get it for a decent price, I would recommend it. It's kind of like a 3D Wario Land, but it's more of a beat 'em up. It's not really like a traditional Wario Land game, but like the bosses are all like weird nightmare fuel. The game is just very weird, and it has that Treasure DNA in it, and it's so much fun. It also has a GBA connectivity for demos of Warioware. And those demos you'd like unlock as you go through the game. They're like, I think there were signposts basically with each of the Warioware characters on them, and some of that content is exclusive to Wario World. It didn't make it into Warioware in exactly the same way. And I guess to go along with that, WarioWare Megaparty games is worth a brief mention, because that is literally like they took the GBA game, they put basically all of its contents on GameCube, and then made it multiplayer, and that was a very fun, wild, off-kilter party game. I remember the modes where you like have to do micro games and like balance turtles on your stack. The one where you got like everyone got really big and like you try to like block people's view.
Was there a flashlight in that, or was that in a later game?
I think there was a flashlight or a spotlight one where you had to I forget exactly how that one worked. There was the doctor's office one too. I forget how that mode worked, but it was a doctor's office. I just remember it was a doctor's office.
Yeah. Those games were so much fun. And Wario World, I'll just say really quickly, weird game, not the most fun thing in the world, but extremely charming.
Yeah, I mean, having the shoulder charge on the R trigger was so satisfying. Wario had some good times on GameCube, even if they were a bit weird.
Yeah. Noise, do you want to bring us home with your last one, and then I'll do my last one quick.
Beyond Good and Evil would be my last one. I honestly played this on Xbox, but it was also on GameCube, so I'm just going to be talking about that real quick. It is my favorite Zelda game that isn't actually a Zelda game, or was for a long time at least. It might be one that takes over it now, but it has a great sense of adventure. There's not many item upgrades that you come along the way, similar to the or Zelda as far as tools or whatever, but it's just the music is it's one of the few Ubisoft games I'd really recommend someone play. It's like I don't know, it's just, it has this like vibe to it. I'm trying to think of like the right way to say it. It's kind of melancholic in a way. It's just this like I have no idea how to describe my love for this game, man. It's just really cool. You can go around taking pictures of stuff. There's a garage with like Rastafarian rhinos just helping you out. You have a pig that just does jet boots attacks and lands on his butt, which was kind of cool back then in a game with that presentation because it wasn't a licensed kids game. You had like a character almost getting killed off, which was like, you know, I was a kid when I first played it, so I didn't really have like Final Fantasy VII or any other games like that really did that before, but that was big for me. And then it had a kind of Mary Sue ending, which kind of made a sequel really impossible. But I will say that when Ubisoft announced the second one, I saw the headline, Ubisoft announces Beyond Good and Evil 2. Good and Evil 2. I got really excited, and then I saw the trailer, and I was very confused because it was a monkey saying fuck. I don't know what's gonna happen with that game, but it is technically sounds like it's going to be truer to what the original idea of Beyond Good and Evil was supposed to be, and that you can explore a galaxy and do everything and do anything type of game. But it doesn't sound like it's a sequel. I don't think it's gonna have the photography. It's not gonna have what made the original so special. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. It's just to sum it up, yeah, it's the best Zelda game that isn't a Zelda game I've ever played, and I have not played Okami.
I need to finish Beyond Good and Evil. I've started a few times, and I've enjoyed it both times, but I need to get through that one time. My last pick, I'll just be really brief about it, because you've heard this one before. Mario Sunshine.
What's that?
It's a 3D Mario game. It's a sequel to Mario 64. It feels great. The controls are wonderful. It definitely doesn't reach the heights of any other 3D Mario game, but I think it still holds its place. It's an extremely charming game. Visuals are great. That water looks good still.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a fun game.
Yeah.
Pachinko.
Lots of good stuff on
Lots
GameCube.
of good stuff on the GameCube. So I'm gonna save this list of honorable mentions and GameCube accessories, and
yeah,
we'll do another GameCube celebration episode later down the line. Just out of the blue, you won't know when to expect it.
Yeah.
But that has been the GameCube. Those are just obviously there's tons of other games, and we'll hopefully talk about those in the future. But these are just some of the games that stood out for us on the system. And please let us know in the comments or in the Discord what GameCube titles you love the most and which made an impression for you. But until that, this has been the Nintendo Pipeline Podcast. Thank you, Clay. Thank you, Noise. And to everybody else, thank you for listening, and good night.